Hello everybody, I am going to take the first of the session of organization development, diagnosis, interventions and change skills. Organization development is a very important paper for the students pursuing the course of human resource management, either in their MBA or in the PGDM or special courses of human resource management being run by various institutions. Organization development has a huge practical significance. So therefore, I will start first with the basic concept of organization development in a very simplified way, and that is organization. What is organization development? We must know what is it, what it is. Basically, when we talk of organization development, it is a process of a plant change from state 1 to state 2, from current state to desired state. Now, so one important thing is the plant change, other is the state in terms of current state and desired. What is a current state and a desired state? This is important to understand, and that is have a look at an organizational life cycle. Organizational life cycle is something like this. Here is the state of initial stage, growth, then we have got maturity, and then we have decline. This is typically like an individual life cycle or a product life cycle, whatever. Now, any organization which is in the initial stage of its existence, the management problems here are different, because the organization is just formed with a particular vision, mission, goals. It has set up a technology, it has brought in the resources, man, machine, material, money, and then it has created a structure for managing it, and then also developed the systems and processes. So the management needs are different at the initial stage. When you come to the growth stage and it has taken up from here to here, gone from here to here, then again the management needs are different, because large number of people are employed, the production has started, the services have been started, lot of problems are coming from the customer end, the supply end, and like that. So the growth has challenges. Then it moves slowly from a state of growth, high growth, to a state of maturity, and that maturity is that slight problems in this particular point of time in terms of the various resources which are being managed by the organization, and gradually, if not noticed, it may move towards the decline stage. Now, what is the role of the organization development? The role of the organization development is that to keep the organization in a continuous state of organization growth, development and excellence, in a state of continuously rising, like state of organizational growth, development and excellence. Excellence, like a signpost, once the standards have been achieved, then setting up of new standard and moving further and going on continuously in a state of organizational growth, development and excellence. Now, while the organization is being moved from here to here, the challenge is that we must note that there are certain things which is going to push it down or move it into state of a plateau. So if this is not identified, if this problems of this area is not identified, then probably this growth may retard and it may come out to in a state like this and finally decline. So the role of organization development is identifying what is the problem here, and here comes the role of diagnosing the problems. Diagnosing the problems. After diagnosing the problems could be anywhere. The problems could be anywhere. For example, if you go to understand where could the problem would be, see, every organization is using a technology. Every organization is using various resources. Resources could be man, machine, material, money. 4 economic resources. Man, we call it human resource management. Machine, technology management. Materials management. Money is financial management. Then to deploy all these resources, you have to create a structure. And finally, put the systems and processes in place. When you talk of the systems and processes, they are related to the technical systems, management systems, and behavioral systems or behavioral code of conduct. There is an interface between each. This is all. Proper deployment and management of these is leading to the achievement of what we call is the organization's vision, mission, and goals. It's a two-way process. Once the organization vision goals are set, then appropriate management of technology, appropriate use of resources, appropriate development of structures, appropriate development of systems and processes. Now, this is an organization's internal structure, process, and management. This is an organization's internal structure, processes, and management. Is internal to the organization. There is an interface with this, the external environment also, government, people, public, society, civil societies, influence groups, several others, the people from the environment. So once there is an interface between these two, that is internal and external environment, lot of challenges are met, and appropriate modifications in the technology, in the resources, in the systems and processes, and the structure needs to be built. So it has a lot of problems. Now, once we talk of the diagnosing the problems may say there could be a problem, let's say, in the technology. If there is a problem in the technology, then the technology needs to be handled, and once the technology has been handled, then the organization can again be developed in a proper way. If we take the case to explain this technology, I will take the name of a very old public sector enterprise, Navy Lignite Corporation, where there was a problem in the technology, and the technology problem was such that it was very difficult to manage for a very long time, because being a continuously operating mine with bucket wheel excavators, when it reached a depth of almost 90 meters, then there was a huge groundwater discharge, and that discharge was not managed. The mines were inundated, since it was an integrated complex of mines, thermal power stations, then fertilizer and briquetting and clay washing plant. So therefore, the whole production operations came to a standstill for a good number of years and incurred huge loss. Once the technology problems were solved, then everything restored to the normal. The structures where the original restructuring was done, executive manpower planning was done, systems and processes were put in place, everything was geared up to help achieve the organization's vision, mission, and goals, and all the losses that it had incurred, even to the extent of 650 crores way back in 80s, it created a profit of 650 crores, and we have won an award of excellence. This is just example of one. So technology problems were diagnosed, technology sections were done. Then after that, the restructuring was done to manage the resources. Restructuring was done to manage the resources appropriately, and systems, processes re-established to achieve the organization vision, mission, and goals, and the excellence was achieved. This is what is precisely an organization development. So therefore, diagnosis has a very important role. And when we come to this, every organization at any point of time At this point of time, even when there is a smooth working, everything is going on well, but everything is going on well, but some anticipations could be made that what could be the situation next 2 to 3 years. What about certain kinds of problems here? What will reflect that? That will be reflected by the degree of the performance levels. How good or bad is the performance level? If a high performing, you just go on. If there is a slight problems in the performance, so performance, looking at what? Continuous performance improvement. OD can also be called up, another name of it can be performance improvement planning and development. Performance improvement, continuous performance improvement, plan for it and develop it, and that is organization development. So diagnosis has a very important role, and when the diagnosis of the problem is done, then we know, yes, what is it there in the today's, what is current in the current state. So once the problem is diagnosed, then prioritize the problems and then work on the various intervention strategies. And from amongst the large number of interventions, possible interventions, which can give an organization a competitive edge, we prioritize the intervention problems and then decide the choice of interventions and implement. After this, implement, and once the implementation is there, implement, and once the implementation has been done, it has to be done successfully. Lot of challenges comes, lot of resistance comes in terms of managing the interventions, implementations processes, and that is where the change management skills are required. So organization development, if I talk about it, that just what it is. So basically this is what it is. Now basically, if we look at the what part, organization development has its roots in the behavioral science. Therefore, problems at individual levels are extremely important, and that individual level problems are to be such that I would not like to put it bring it down into some kind of a compartments, but we'll say that keeping good people, managing people in a good way, keeping people good and happy. If we set this as a goal of organization development, probably any kind of an intervention systematically designed will yield results. Many OD processes have yielded good results, many have not. There are examples of successful OD interventions, there are examples of failure OD interventions. What is important is we need to take the whole problem in totality with a holistic and integrated perspective, so that we design new things. In the next, there are various key aspects. I will not be talking about it in this lecture, like change management, leadership initiative, diagnostic process, situation awareness, OD interventions. Introduction has been made. In my next lecture, I will be talking about these in details one by one and take the course forward. If you have any question, you can reach out to us in our channel. Put your questions in the comments, and Let's learn together. Thank you.